run the whole building is Pusat Studi Bahasa Jepang. So we are very, very happy and grateful that you would spare your busy time to visit us and share your invaluable knowledge in your lecture today, which is the intercultural diplomacy. And I believe that this is something that some of the students might not know, but one of our graduates was actually an ambassador to Poland. Ibu Siti Nugraha Mauludiah. Some of you might have known. So this is something also, this is a cooperation and collaboration which is very welcome. And I hope this is the first of the many to come. We have already, like we discussed earlier, we have this cooperation already with Torun University in Poland. So maybe one of us or anyone would, if the proposal that we are putting forward succeed, and it is also something we can pursue further with your help. So again, I would like to thank everybody, the chair of the English Studies, who's working very hard for this to happen. Can we give an applause for him? And Madam Ambassador just asked me who actually created that poster, and I'm very proud to say that he created it. He's an artist. So again, thank you very much for coming, and we are again very happy to have you here, and I hope this is going to be the first of the many and fruitful, productive collaboration between Indonesia and Poland, and perhaps between UNPAD and maybe more Polish university in the future. Thanking you for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the lecture today. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for the opening remarks. Now, before we start, the English Studies program will give a token of appreciation for Her Excellency Beata Stoczynska. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Excellency. Without further ado, I would like to remind participants that the lecture will start in a few minutes, so you may prepare your devices or notes or books to take notes. This lecture is also streamed on Zoom and the English Studies program YouTube channel. This session will be moderated by Dr. Aryadi Purwawijana, head of the English Studies program. Doctor, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum, everyone. Your Excellency, Madam Ambassador, Mr. Stanislav Socinski, the Dean, dear and not so dear students. There are several categories of students. Some of them are dear students. Some of them, well, uh, you know who you are. Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Sopahoku, Namaste Namaskaram, Waititong Tien, Sampurasun, Sampurasun. Um, I know you're expecting Her Excellency Madam Siti Mauludia Nugraha Mauludia. Unfortunately, she's an important person, and therefore, just like every other day, you get me. I'm sorry, but you have no choice. Okay, so today we have the honor of the presence and the willingness of who has agreed to grace us with her insight and knowledge about intercultural communication, about to people interaction and diplomacy. So we are very lucky that we have this opportunity. Um, our speaker today was born in Shiraz, Poland. She has a master's degree in Masters of Economics from the University of Economics at Wrocław, and she began her um foreign affairs career in the Department of Economy, and then she started working also in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. She began her overseas career um, in the Embassy of the Republic of Poland in Canberra as a counselor, and then as a senior minister counselor for Department of Asia, Australia, and Latin America, and then Department of Asia and Pacific. She was also the ASEM coordinator, the deputy director of Department of Asia and Pacific, and afterward she was appointed as the ambassador of the Republic of Poland in New Zealand, and finally she Providence has brought her closer to us, and since 2018, she has been the ambassador of the Republic of Poland in Indonesia, also for Timor-Leste and ASEAN. And I think that was what was lucky for us at the time during her tenure as the ambassador to Indonesia. One of our alumna was also appointed as the ambassador of Indonesia to Poland and became her counterpart. And therefore, we are very much thankful to Madam Nugraha Maudia, and we're very sorry that she can't be here. I'm very sorry. I'm sure you're more sorry than I am because you have to deal with me. But without further ado, let's welcome uh, Her Excellency Beata Szczecińska to the stage to deliver her lecture. Madam Ambassador.
So first of all, let me say big thank you for the university to invite me to be here today with you, with students. Thank you, Madam Dean. Thank you, Pa, and of course, thank you, Ambassador City, for inviting me here. It's really great to be in this very university because I already, when I was on my way here, I discovered that this is a big university, very vibrant university, beautiful area in Bandung. So I can only congratulate you all that you are studying in such a beautiful, beautiful place. Yes, so I will. I will start my let's say lecture. I don't really like this word lecture. Simply my expressions about Poland and Polish Indonesia design with the PowerPoint presentation. So do I have this presentation here? Yeah. because it will be easier for you maybe to follow the ideas of how our bilateral relations look like. So this is map of Indonesia and Poland. We are very far from each other, more than 10,000 kilometers, but very close because we cooperate already for many years. So may I have the next slide? Yes. So I just want to start with some similarities between Poland and Indonesia. As you see already, and you know already, we have very similar flags, like almost the same. Polish white and red, and Indonesia red and white. And I am very grateful that university already prepared two flags. And thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak. Actually, I have to say that it's not very difficult to have our flags together. Uh, yes, yes, but it was just one example. It was a sport event, international event in Norway a few years ago, and maybe you know that your team who won one of the category, they forgot the Indonesian flag. So the Polish sportsmen, they actually gave them our own flag opposite, and the Indonesian friends were very happy to have it. So this is something what it's common to us. But being here in Indonesia for 5 years, I discovered that there are more than only flags, which is common to our countries. You have beautiful Garuda. We have white eagle as our symbol. White eagle is a bird. I mean, which is looking like Garuda simply. Another thing is that. As it is shown, our flags were introduced when we became independent countries. For Indonesia, it was 1945. For Poland, it was 1918. And this is not only the similarities. Poland is biggest and the leader of the Central Europe. Indonesia is the biggest country and the leader of the Southeast Asia. Poland is a member of the European Union. Indonesia is a member of ASEAN. And very important now, as you know, Indonesia is a presidency in ASEAN for this very year. Also, Poland is the biggest market in Central Eastern Europe, 40 million people. Indonesia is the biggest market for Southeast Asia with 2,080 million, even one of the biggest in the whole Asia and Pacific region. And also similarities are like the people. In Poland, young people are very creative, full of energy. Your friend maybe could confirm this, as I know you were studying in the Warsaw University. So young people, creative people, like in Indonesia. When I see people here, I think that the people are the biggest richness of this very country. And I am very glad of that. Always the young generation should follow everything in the country. Okay, so maybe we can go to the next slide. I want to say Poland and Indonesia started its diplomatic relations in 1955. So it means that we are already officially cooperate with Indonesia for 68 years. But Polish people were present in Indonesia already in 19th, 20th century. I would like to say a few words about Professor Zwierzycki. Professor Zwierzycki was a geologist, and he was in Indonesia more than 100 years ago, mostly in Bandung. Actually, he was professor at the today Bandung Institute of Technology. Before it was under the Dutch colony, but he was a professor of geology, and he was an author of the first Indonesian geology map, the Polish professor. So it's really something, I guess. And the Polish embassy decided to commemorate him as an important person. So last year we unveiled the plaque dedicated to Professor Zwierzycki in Bandung Museum of Geology. So one day when you will be there, and I know that a lot of young people are visiting this museum quite often, if you will be there in the Museum of Geology, please go to the room where the plaque is dedicated to Professor Zwierzycki. And also our embassy, we were thinking that it will be good also to say something more about Professor Zwierzycki to the societies in Poland and in Indonesia. So we prepared comics dedicated to his life, because although he spent 24 years in Indonesia, he had very rich, let's say, CV. He was prisoned at the Auschwitz-Birkenau camp during the Second World War. Actually, he escaped from German camp. And then in Poland, in 50s, he discovered the sources of cuprum. And now in Poland, there's a huge cuprum mining in this area. So he was really a very interesting person. And he also helped in 30s to establish the first Polish consulate before the Second World War, when we had the consulate in Batavia. So he was really an extraordinary person, and I would like that both Poland and Indonesia should always remember about him. So maybe the next slide. There's also other people which are usually when I am talking about our relations, I really like to start with the history and with the people who were here before or many years ago, because I think in every relations between two countries, people are the most important. And this is why we, at the embassy, we try to find more and more information about the Polish people who were settled here many years ago. So Czesław Mystkowski was another person, another example. He was an artist, a painter, and he was living here in Jakarta and Bali for
Hello, and welcome to Flutter Forward. It's a really, really exciting day, and thank you for tuning in. My name's John. I'm a developer relations engineer on the Flutter and Dart team.
And my name is Kate Lovett. I'm a software engineer on the Flutter framework team.
And we have some guests from Google and from the community joining us today. Our first guests are Rodi and Taha. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Rodi. I am on the material design team as a developer relations engineer.
I am Taha. I am one of the many Flutter contributors.
You will go to this
So,
museum,
we're gonna be-
and there are a lot of beautiful paintings. Few of them are by Czesław Mystkowski. And this year, at the embassy, we plan to publish an album with his paintings, and the launch of the album will be in the Pacifica Museum in Bali at the second half of this year. Okay, so here's another example of the great Polish-Indonesia relations, let's say. And another one, which is very close to Ari, Józef Konrad Korzeniowski. Maybe the previous slide, this one, yeah. Józef Konrad Korzeniowski, he's more known as a Joseph Conrad. And most of his life he spent in the United Kingdom, but he was born in Poland from Polish parents, and he was pure Polish man. His surname is Korzeniowski, but he moved from Poland to UK, to the Great Britain, and all of his books were written in English. And he is known of that. And he traveled a lot because he was also sailor. He had also extraordinary life, and he visited and he traveled also here on, let's say, Nusantara, in this very region of the world. So he was here in Indonesia between 1886 and 1890. So this is also the person who can connect us in some way. Okay, maybe next slide. As you maybe know, Poland is a Catholic country, like Indonesia is a Muslim country. 87% of the population is Muslim. In Poland, more than 90 actually percent are Catholics, the Christian church. So, and as we are a very Catholic country, we are always trying also to send our priests, missionaries to other countries. And Indonesia was one of this example. In 1965, the group of 25 priests came from Poland to Indonesia. Most of them, they stayed actually for life here. Now they are quite old people, but still we have two priests from this very group since 1965. One is living in Flores, and I think, yes, two of them actually are living in Flores. Very old people, but what they did, it was really very extraordinary, because they were not only because to let's say to support the Christianity here, Catholicism, but they were very active at the local communities. They helped local people to build schools, hospitals, buildings, building infrastructure like roads, especially in Flores, but also in Sumatra and Java as well. So this fantastic group of people. One of the priests, actually, last year we visited Flores, and it was 65th anniversary of his priesthood. Old man, almost 87 years old, but so full of energy, yes? And he told us that he built in Indonesia 170 buildings, not dedicated not for church, but for the people, yes? As I said, for schools, hospitals, and for publics. So they did a fantastic job here, Polish priests, okay? And this is just a few words about the first Polish consulate. Like I mentioned, that Professor Zwierzycki, he was very helpful in 30s to actually in 20s and 30s to create this consulate in Batavia, in Jakarta. So although Poland and Indonesia formally started its diplomatic relations in 1955. But before the Second World War, we had already diplomatic presence here. But Indonesia was at that time not fully independent. So we count that formally we have our relations, diplomatic relations, since 1955. But we were present here, as you see, already in 1921. Okay, and now a little bit about the bilateral relations, what we are doing here as the Polish embassy in Indonesia. Always when the countries are cooperating, the most important is like a political dialogue. So we, to have as good as possible this political cooperation, the exchange of visits is very important, because during the visits of the high-ranking politicians, we sign agreements, we discuss bilateral cooperation, we discuss our cooperation on multilateral agenda, and so this is very important and crucial to have new directions for our cooperation. And I am very glad that there are already quite a few exchange on the highest level between presidents. And as you see, in 1959 already President Sukarno visited Poland. You can see few black-white photos from this visit. He was, as a first president, very important person in the global arena. So we were very happy to have him in 50s. And then 2003, President Megawati Sukarno-Putro visited Poland. 1 year later, Polish President Kwaśniewski was in Indonesia here. And then 2013, President SBY was in Poland. So during this visit, as I said, they discussed important issues between our two countries, and it was very important stage when we are thinking what's happened between Poland and Indonesia. Okay, next slide. And here, our Prime Minister, our Prime Minister in 2017, Beata Szydło, the first name, like the same name, first name like my name is, although it's not very, very popular name in Poland, but there are still few. So Madame Beata Szydło, actually they, together with your President Jacobi, they met in Beijing during the conference dedicated the Belt and Road Initiative. That time, 2015, 16, 17, this initiative was very much discussed around the world as a new philosophy, new idea how to connect countries and give as good as possible situation for cooperation. That time, actually, Indonesia was a candidate for the membership of the United Nations Security Council, and it was discussed during this meeting. And to be frank, Poland was also candidate, and both countries finally became for 2 years UN Security Council members, and we were able to cooperate on this level in this body for 1 year, 2019. So 2019, we were together, Poland and Indonesia, members of the United Nations Security Council. And of course, both leaders discussed other sectors of cooperation, economy, education, culture, and it was a very good meeting. Okay, next slide. There's also the dialogue between ministries of foreign affairs, and this is very important for the diplomatic relations between two countries. Actually, when the ministers of foreign affairs meet, they discuss very deeply what's going on between two countries. They discuss agreements which are under negotiation. They discussed trade and investment cooperation, everything what can connect two countries, like education, culture, people-to-people contacts. And as ambassador, I was really lucky to have my Minister of Foreign Affairs here in Indonesia in 2018. He visited not only Jakarta, but also Yogyakarta. In Yogyakarta, Minister Czaputowicz met the Sultan. He visited beautiful Borobudur and Parambanan areas. And in Jakarta, of course, he met and he had a deep discussion with the Madame Retno Marsudi. And Minister Retno Marsudi visited Poland 1 year later in 2019, and it was great, and we had a lot of plans, but then pandemic came, as we all know, so we had to postpone some of our activities. But now this year we start again, and in May this year Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs is coming to Jakarta. And we also expect a visit of the representatives of the Ministry of Agriculture from Poland, Ministry of Justice, and Ministry of Infrastructure. So there is a lot of, we have a lot of plans for this year, and thanks God there is no let's say, any longer pandemic. Okay, then we can go later. Next, yes, political and economic consultations. As I said, relations between two ministries of foreign affairs are very important, and the highlight it is there are visits of ministers of foreign affairs, but even deeper, the bilateral relations are discussed by the deputy ministers. And we call it like a political consultations. And in 1918, we had here Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Poland, as well as Deputy Minister of Energy. And as I said, this May we expect our Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs again. And probably we will sign a few agreements and MOUs, and I'm very glad of that. But it's usually takes a lot of job for the embassy to prepare as good as possible this visit. So, but I hope we will manage at the embassy. And actually, during this visit, we had like a first Polish-Indonesian business forum. And it was really big and important event. We met Minister Coordinator Luchut, as you probably all know him. He supports very much Poland and Polish relations with Indonesia, and I'm very grateful for that. Okay, so maybe we can go with next slide. Here also when two countries cooperate together, the parliamentary dialogue is very important. In Poland, Parliament has a very strong position. And I'm very glad that exchange of the visits of parliamentarians are possible here in Indonesia. In 2017, the Speaker of the Polish Senate is like House of Regions here in Indonesia, equivalent of the House of the Regions. And he visited Indonesia with the delegation, and it was a good, very good visit. He met a lot of VIPs here, like Vice President Yusuf Kala, Mr. Sapta, and Mr. Hassan. So many prominent Indonesians. Maybe next slide. And here there was a delegation from Indonesia to Poland. Mr. Fadil Zon and the delegation from Indonesia visited Warsaw and met also our parliamentarians, met also Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, as well as the Speaker of Senate. So it was also a good example of the great cooperation between two parliaments. And also last year, maybe next slide. Last year, I was lucky to organize a visit again of the Polish parliamentarians. They were in Jakarta as well as in Bandung. In Bandung, actually, they unveiled the plaque dedicated Professor Zwierzycki I was mentioning at the beginning. So they were very happy to visit a beautiful city of Bandung as well. Those people, parliamentarians, actually the chairman of the 5 or 6 chairmen of the Polish ASEAN countries groups in Polish parliament. So it was a chairman of the Polish Indonesia parliamentary group, Polish Malaysia, Polish Singapore, Polish Vietnam. And why? Because last year we celebrated 10 years of the cooperation between Poland and ASEAN. 10 years ago, the first ambassador of Poland was established, let's say, at the ASEAN, was officially announced as ambassador to ASEAN. So, and we celebrated last year 10 years of cooperation. So, because of this anniversary, those people came to Indonesia to celebrate it. Okay, so maybe next slide. Economic cooperation. Of course, when we talk about the relations between Indonesia and Poland, for us, for Poland, and I guess for Indonesia as well, the trade and investment cooperation is the most important. This is our priority. As both countries, the biggest market in the regions, big markets like in Indonesia, 280 million, in Poland, 40 million market, in Europe. So we are very important for each other. So we closely cooperate to increase trade and investment, especially in energy sector. Poland already has energy investment in Lombok. We built two energy blocks, 50 megawatts each, and this year this project will be concluded. And we also cooperate very closely with the defense sector. Just recently I had meeting with Minister Prabowo, and we discussed very deeply how we can cooperate more closely. Maritime, I think it's very important, and because Poland is like a maritime country as well, because we have Baltic Sea, and Indonesia is such a huge maritime country. When I travel around Indonesia, and I already visited, I think, 19 provinces in Indonesia, and I see all these islands, I think always that there is maybe not enough maritime infrastructure, that the islands are not enough connected to each other, and Poland Poland, with its experience in building ports, ferries, or ships, can really be a good partner for Indonesia. So, so this year we will be very focused on maritime sector, and we are planning to bring a mission of maritime sector from Poland to Indonesia during the Maritime Expo, I think in August this year. So this is the plan, but also mining sectors, agriculture, IT. And to promote trade and investment, since 2019, Poland is organizing so-called Polish festivals. We are present in the big shopping markets with the Polish products. Actually, last year we were present also in Bandung. It was October. And this year there will be also Polish Festival 2023, and also we will be organizing a lot of events, trade, investment, cultural events, tourism events. There is a huge 1 month, let's say, Polish Festival. And we will be present also here again in Bandung this year in November. So I hope, do you have Grand Lucky? Do you have Grand Lucky in Bandung? Grand Lucky shops? Or Grand Lucky? Yeah. In Bandung? No, in Bandung, because in Jakarta we have our Polish festival in Grand Lucky, but I can't remember in which shops in Bandung. But nevertheless, we will send information. If you will be interested to know more about Poland, we will give you tips where it will take place. So for these festivals, usually we are bringing like Polish chefs who is cooking for the showing what is the food in Poland. Food is always something which really bring people together, as we know. In Indonesia, you have such a fantastic and very vibrant food. Depends actually when we travel around Indonesia. Almost in every province there is something different, yes. But I have to say that I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed with the Indonesian food. Okay, so Polish Festival is a very important chapter of our activities. And the Polish Embassy, together with the Polish Trade and Investment Office, and together with the Polish community, which is present in Jakarta and in Bali. Most Polish people are living in Bali, but also in Bandung. So we organize this 1 month festival. Okay, so maybe next. And when we are talking about the interfaith, intercultural dialogue, so this is a very important initiative which we continue with Indonesia since 2011. It's so-called interfaith and intercultural dialogue. Actually, there is a chance for the meeting of the representatives of, let's say, beliefs, different churches. Of course, from the Indonesia side, Muslims, from the Polish side, Catholics, but we always want to share our experience how to deal with other religions, because in Poland we have also Muslims. On the east side of my country there is a small community, so-called Tatars, and they are already in Poland since 16th century. And they used to live in Poland generation by generation, but they still are Muslims, but very well received by Poland and the Polish communities on the east side of Poland. When you go to Poland on the east, you will see a lot of mosques. You will be really surprised. And here the last round, the 4th round of the dialogue was taking place in December 2022 in Bandung, again in Bandung. So we brought the delegation from Poland, and there was a huge delegation from Indonesia, and it was a chance to discuss how we can cooperate together, exchange of experiences also during the pandemic, how the let's say the Muslims and Catholics experience the pandemic time to help each other, to express solidarity solidarity in a social community, things like that. So it was really great experience. We brought for this dialogue Polish priests, actually Polish Catholic priest, Polish representative of the Muslim community from Poland, Polish professor of medicine, and a representative of the Polish youth. So it was really a fantastic experience, and we are very happy to run this round of the dialogue here in Bandung. Okay, next slide. So this is like the real people-to-people contact, because it is like a tourism, yes? So of course, I usually used to say that if people don't know each other, how they can do business or other cooperation. And this is always my job also, to encourage people to travel to Poland, or Polish people to travel to Indonesia. Because if they know each other better, then they can cooperate in every aspect. Education, there can be exchange of students, teachers, or they can do business simply. And this is why we support very much like the tourism exchange. Before pandemic, we had a direct flight from Warsaw to Denpasar, and it was really fantastic, because few days a week we had a direct flight, and we brought a lot of Polish tourists to Bali. And but now after pandemic we are starting again, but not yet. We didn't come back again to the direct flight. But also Indonesians are more and more interested in traveling to Poland. To see our beautiful country, because Poland, as I said, we have Baltic Sea, but we have also Tatra Mountains, we have beautiful lakes. We used to call the lakes area 1,000 lakes area, let's say, and we have beautiful cities, beautiful architecture, so it's really worthy to visit. Okay, so next, and I try always to discuss the tourism exchange with the government of Indonesia, and you can see here together with Minister Uno Santiago during the conference of the creative economy, and the tourism is a part of the creative economy as well. So this is also part of the economy for each country. So, and I do hope that, especially now after pandemic, we can come back with the tourism exchange as well. And the next slide is education. So, and I want to stress that I am really very glad to be here at at your university. Because I think that exchange, especially exchange of students, of teachers, it's really important, because students are real ambassadors. When you go to other country, to Poland, like our MC, yes, because I know you studied in the Warsaw University. So when the people are coming back, they want to share their knowledge, experience about times spent, she or he spent in Poland, let's say, in the country where he or she was studied. So for us, for Poland, education is very important. When I came here 2018, it was really not many Indonesian students in Poland, maybe 50 students per year. Now we have like 500-600 per year students from Indonesia to Poland. And I'm really very glad of that. Our embassy is doing a lot. So we are traveling around Indonesia to different provinces and cities, and we are always visiting universities. And we are ready, not only me, but also my diplomats, they are ready always to share its experiences and knowledge about Poland and the conditions, how are the possibilities to study in Poland, and to share all this with students. So we are also, of course, in touch with the government when we discuss education cooperation with the previous Minister of Education and also Minister Muhammad Nasir. I was really impressed to meet him. Yes, you probably know him better than me, but he is really so young, so creative person. Yes, and fantastic. So And we discussed how we can do, what we can do more to support exchange between students. And he is an advocate of the youth and of the creativity, of the startups, of the studying together, or any other education programs. Yes, so he's such a good partner for us. So yes, and actually, yes, maybe next slide. And but talking about still education is, I just want to say that a very good partner for Poland is governor of NTB, Dr. Zul from Lombok. Because he created special scholarship for his young people who want to study abroad, and mostly of scholarship are in Poland scholarships. So many young people from Lombok are studying in Poland now. Also, we run 3 Polish language courses in 3 universities around Indonesia. The University of Indonesia, Atmajaya, and Airlangga University is in Surabaya. So we have a lot of students, and also if you are interested in maybe to learn something about our language, you can follow us on our social media, because our Polish teachers, they also organize like online courses of the Polish language. So I can only invite you to be part of these courses. And we are not yet in Bandung, only 2 universities in Jakarta and 1 in Surabaya, but we are very open for the cooperation with other universities. So maybe we can, with Ibu Din and Pa Ari, to discuss how we can maybe organize the Polish language course here. As I learned, it's a big university, 40,000 students, and maybe we can discuss how we can organize the Polish language courses, because Polish government is paying for the teacher who is coming directly from Poland. So this is really a very interesting program. So if you want, we can discuss later on. Okay. So what next? Oh, this is just a final slide. I want to say only that always cuisine and food brings people together. As I said, I am very impressed with the Indonesian food, but Polish food is good as well. Our most popular food you can see here, like Polish, let's say, schnitzel, or Polish pierogi, like dumplings. Probably you know a lot about this food, and the Polish soups and herrings, cucumbers. So I mean, this is our cuisine. This is more or less our cuisine. And the next slide is something what probably you know better than Polish cuisine. It's fantastic nasi goreng, the fish, and the special, like a birthday or celebration food. So I always think that when people are sitting together at the table, they eat, they discuss, it's always bring us to closer. Like I had a chance before this lecture to be a guest during the lunch hosted by Ibu Din and Pa Ari, and I really enjoyed Indonesian food as well. So the last slide is to say thank you. So this is the Embassy of Poland in Jakarta, together with our local colleagues. And this is also a fantastic example of the dialogue, of the communication, because as you see, our local staff, they have beautiful batiks with the Polish symbols, if you will look more detail. And actually, without the local staff, we will be really unable to run embassy. Yes? And most of them are working at the embassy for 30, 40 years already, and they are such a good friends of Poland. And I really always, every day, I am thankful for them for that. So thank you very much. If you have questions, yes, I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and perhaps you would like to take a seat. You've been standing for quite a while. Thank you so much for such insight and information about Poland and the relations between Poland and Indonesia so far, and it has been far from the beginning of the 2 centuries ago until this time. So now perhaps members of the audience, students or teachers would like to ask questions or make comments, especially as you know, you can see that we've seen that there are a lot of opportunities in education, in cooperation that can be pursued. So I saw Parasu's hand go up, but he's been here a while. So we're going to let the younger people first. I hope he doesn't mind. So one over there. And then I saw someone over here, I think. Somewhere over here. Did I see somebody? I saw somebody. If I imagined it was you, you were going to ask the question. Can you come up here, please? So you haven't graduated yet?
Thank you for asking that. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adele, and I would like to thank everyone for the opportunity to have me standing here for my question. First of all, I'd like to thank you personally for having every one of us listen to your presentation. Okay, maybe I can just continue to my question. Understanding your presentation earlier, we have understood that Poland and Indonesian cooperation have been going on for quite a long time, and we've understood that there's a lot of cooperations in a lot of aspects, such as economical, tourism, and also there are exchanges in technology, education, mining, and other stuff. The aspects that we personally feel as Indonesians in education perhaps is like student exchange. That's what I found. And also there were like interfaith and intercultural dialogues that made us understood a lot of stuff that we didn't understand in this culture of Indonesia and that happened in Poland and stuff like that. And also, Mrs. Beta earlier said that the youngers of Poland are creative and strong, ambitiously strong and stuff like that. And we can agree that the youngers of Indonesia are also having the same characteristic, which are creative and strong in ambition. And I would like to know, my question is, I would like to know if the exchanges and the cooperation that Indonesia and Polandia have actually has kind of like the human resource exchange in terms of maybe like the education that the people who studies graduated and they have the privilege to work in Polandia because we have personal cooperation perhaps or other things like that. Had you explained it earlier and I didn't listen, I would like to apologize, but I think I didn't hear that coming, and I would like to know if youngers in here, outside of educational purposes, have the privilege to work in Polandia because of the cooperation that we have, rather than other countries. So that was my question. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Adele. Perhaps Your Excellency would grace her with your response.
So thank you very much for this question. There are a lot of there are a lot of possibilities for the exchange of education, but also of work. Talking about education, Poland offers scholarships for young students and young people from Indonesia. The scholarship is called Stefan scholarship. So now, well, it works. Yes, fantastic. So Stefan Banach scholarship. It's a scholarship which creates the possibility for study, especially in let's say more technical studies like engineering, mining, agriculture, polytechnics. It is called Stefan Banach scholarship because Stefan Banach was a famous Polish mathematician
competition. And this scholarship is dedicated not only for Indonesia, but countries in Asia and Africa. But every year, the biggest number of students recipients of these scholarships are from Indonesia, like 30 students per year. So what can I suggest is to start to try to apply for this scholarship. Of course, Indonesians can also study like on a commercial base, but I would like to stress that first of all, the quality of the studies in Poland is very high, especially in technical studies. And I usually try to encourage Indonesians to study like maybe medicine in Poland, but also, of course, the human sciences as well. So the quality is very high. The language of studies is English. So this is another advantage. And also, talking about the, let's say, prices, they are probably not so high like in other Western European or US or Australia. They are probably not so high like in these countries. And the quality of studies are very good. Quality is very good. So, this is why I would really suggest you to consider maybe to continue your studies in Poland, or maybe choose for master degree or PhD degree. And also the conditions for living, I mean, for students are good. As I said, the number of students are growing every year, of Indonesian students in Poland. And when they come back or they want to share their experience with us, they have always such a good experiences in Poland. They like Polish food, they like Polish colleagues, they like climate, although in Poland it's quite cold, but we have like 4 seasons. Yes, so the summer, spring are okay. Maybe winter and autumn is a little bit cold, but I think the Polish people, they have very, let's say, warm hearts, and and I think that this is why Indonesian students really like Poland to study, this country for study. They choose this country for study. And your question was also about the work. I have to say that actually every year we issue more and more so-called working visas, but it is maybe not for students, it's rather for other, I mean, older people, yes, than students, for like so they work in farms or some factories, doing rather simple things, yes. So I think you are already educated people, so maybe I would rather suggest you to not to go for work, but maybe to improve education, to do PhD or a program like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Madam Ambassador. So I think Adele is planning to graduate soon, so she's looking for opportunities, what's available for her. So if Her Excellency says you need to continue your studies on a master's or PhD level, this comes from an ambassador, so I think it's valid. It's a valid suggestion, because sometimes they don't believe us, Madam Ambassador. So, oh yeah, they don't believe me. They believe her more, and I think Adele will trust Madam Ambassador much more. Thank you. Are there any more questions from the students before we go to Pak Rasus? Anyone? As you can see from the explanation and the presentation from Her Excellency, you can see that there has been opportunities that I think we've missed. Like the Polish festival in Bandung, which I was very happy that you're here and giving this presentation, but as soon as I saw that there was that festival in Bandung and I missed it, I was very sorry. So I'm sorry. So next year, around November. We're also planning to have an international conference on culture and the performing arts, and hopefully the two events might be linked. We can link the two events together. Our conference participants also to the Polish festival. So I guess so that and you can see that there are the Polish language opportunities in Indonesia and other people-to-people contact between us, and of course with having the advantage of Your Excellency's visit today and our dear Bunining. I think we have an advantage in benefiting from this opportunities that's available from years and years of Polish and Indonesian relations. I guess so. We can, while other people are thinking about the kind of questions or comments they want to make, we might want to have Parasus make a comment.
Thank you, moderator. You said comment. I was.
Yeah, question.
Well, Your Excellency, Ambassador, you mentioned something about education, and this is actually what I really want to know. I mean, I just wondering if you would like to explain the system of higher education in Poland. I mean, to what extent it is the same and to what extent it is different from Indonesia, and the admission system from high school to university, and also about the differences between private and state universities, what advantages and disadvantages students expect when they go to private or state universities, and also the opportunities made available by the market, by industry, to the students taking fields of studies such as literature, linguistics, and humanities, and to what extent the government through the Ministry of Education support this area of education. Thank you, so that we can learn and from your experience. Thank you.
So thank you very much. I see that the education is really something what is really interested for you. I'm very glad for that. In Poland, we have state universities and private universities, probably like in Indonesia. Both are good quality. Of course, state universities have always very, very high quality already, long probably tradition. Like maybe you know that the first Polish university, Jagiellonian University, was established in 14th century, and since that year, it works all the time. It's very old university. And very, a lot of professors and other notable persons graduated this university. But talking about the system, of course, we have like a system, so-called Bolognian system, bachelor, master, and PhD. If you want to study bachelor is 3 years studies. If you want to study master's is 2 years, and then PhD depends, but mostly 2 years. But depends of the university or let's say candidate for PhD. Yeah? But mostly it's 2 years. And as I also mentioned. We have very good technical studies, polytechnics, maritime, agriculture, also very good quality of medicine. So this, as you study English, you can actually, as you know already English language, so you can study everything. Yes, as English language is a study language in Poland for foreigners. If you want to know more, I recommend to contact our embassy, because I have colleagues at the embassy who are dedicated to the education cooperation, and we are very active on our social media. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We have also, yes, films on YouTube, Facebook. I mean, yes, follow our social media. We inform about where the application period for scholarship, Manach scholarship starts. We are also informed about the Polish language courses, and also you can just contact our diplomats and you can learn more, and you have ask what you want, what you are interested in regards to education. So this is my advice: simply contact the embassy, yes, because it depends what are your interests and what you really looking for. So this, we always ready to advise in every specific case. But also would like to say that you probably know about the so-called EHEC education, higher education, higher education festival of the European Union. And usually we're in Bandung, yes? Usually we're in the, usually it is November, if I'm not mistaken. So probably this year we'll be also in Bandung with this festival, a higher education festival. So you will be able to meet embassies or already universities representatives and discuss what you would like to study, or you know, you can learn more about the possibilities how to study abroad, especially at the European Union, but also in Poland. So, and we will be for sure in Bandung this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Are there any questions or comments from anyone? While I'm waiting for other students to make comments or ask questions, actually, I'd like to say that a lot of our students, they have either community outreach programs or creativity programs that they would like to develop, and also and of course, other than having us have our students visit Poland, I think we would also be very happy to receive students from Poland to study with us and get to know what we have to offer also. So I'm just wondering whether that's possible. And also for short terms, perhaps, when students have, let's say, community outreach programs or ideas, whether it's possible to ask the assistance of the Polish embassy to have our young generation have contact with the young generation in Poland who have similar interests and similar concerns.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Because it reminds me that Ibudin mentioned about the already cooperation between University of Mikołaj Kopernik in Toruń and your university here in Bandung. So I think that absolutely there is possibility of exchange of students. Maybe yes, a few students from Poland coming here and few students from your university faculty going to Toruń. So maybe I can suggest, and we can discuss. I will ask maybe to contact you. I will ask my people to contact you to talk about details. We can organize like a Zoom meeting between Toruń University and you, and maybe there will be possible to create some kind of the exchange program for students, physical exchange, yes, for one semester or something to study. I think that university in Toruń has already a lot of experiences with foreign students as well, like you have. So I think that probably it will be possible. The embassy will be more than happy to support this.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Like before your arrival, they seem to be very excited, and it seems like from their faces, unless I misinterpret, they seem to have a lot of questions and comments, but it seems that at this present time they're quite at awe and starstruck. Yeah. Yeah. and at the time of day, they're now quite silent. hopefully that the silence will give them time to think, because as previously Budekan says that hopefully this is not the only meeting, but this will become the first of many other meetings, even online meetings on Zoom between our university and the University of Turan. With that, I think we can conclude our meeting today. And again, I would like to ask everyone to express their gratitude and being pleased for having Her Excellency Ambassador Beata Sochinska making the time to speak and meet with us, and hopefully this will become a gate for other forms of cooperation. Let's give a round of applause to Her Excellency the Ambassador of Poland.
Thank you very much. It was a real pleasure to be here with you all, and I wish the university and your faculty all the best. And yes, you are welcome to Poland. Thank you.
Okay, now the audience maybe can stand up. So we will have a photo session with Her Excellency.